Well, we'll say another Mishaberach soon, but first I'm going to talk about this week's Torah portion for a moment. So, in this week's Torah portion, we find that Jacob has successfully fooled his father, Isaac, into receiving the blessing, the birthright, stealing from his twin brother Esau, because he fooled him. I'll never forget being in Sunday school in 3rd grade and remembering that Jacob put the fur on his arms to make it like he had furry arms, so that his father, who couldn't see so well, felt like it was Esau. I literally see the classroom when I tell that story, but that's an aside. So we see Jacob having deceived his father with his mother's help, and now Esau is enraged, and Esau is a strapping man, and Jacob is fleeing for his life, having kind of achieved what he wanted, but he doesn't feel so good about it, and, well, he's fleeing, and he is in this desolate area, and he has to stop for the night, and he goes to sleep with his head on a stone. And it's, everything in the Torah is often these metaphors for things. They're literally what's happening, and it's the bigger picture of what's happening. So he's in this desolate, dark, lonely area, sleeping on a stone. So it's a hard place, literally and figuratively. And he has this dream, and he dreams of angels ascending and descending a ladder, or ladder's one interpretation, but stepping stones of a kind. But when you hear the term Jacob's ladder, that's what people say. So these angels are ascending and descending, and he sees this in his dream, and he wakes up, and he says, "Oh, God must be present here. I thought I was alone in this desolate area, but surely God is in this place, and I did not know." So in Jacob's ladder, it makes us think of many things. I want to focus on 2 things about this ladder. One is that this idea that the way the angels they're spoken of first ascending, going up, which implies that they're coming from earth to go to some heavenly place, and then they come down. So what does that ask us? What does that tell us? Nothing's by accident in the Torah. So are we to think that perhaps angels are among us? And we sang Shalom Aleichem earlier this evening, and I said that we call for these ministering angels. We call for these angels of peace. And in Judaism, angels are not cherubs with the bow and arrow with the wings in paintings, although those are lovely paintings. In Judaism, angels look like human beings, look like you and I, and perhaps may be human beings, and they're among us. And maybe you are one of them, and maybe you're one of them today, but you're not tomorrow. Maybe you were yesterday, but you're not today. We are perhaps ascending and descending in the way that we are in the world all the time, and that we are creating this peace or this moment on earth. We can be those angels. So maybe this ladder is to help us know that. These words, surely God was in this place and I did not know it, makes me think that surely God is in every place that we notice God is there. If God is in this desolate place where he's sleeping on a stone, maybe God is in all the places, the difficult ones and the good ones. Now, I don't believe in a God that creates difficult moments for us. I don't believe in a God that says, this bad thing's going to happen here, this good thing's going to happen here. That would be kind of a cruel God if that was the God that we had, because there's so many bad things that happen in the world. But I do believe that God created the world for us to be those angels, and for us to notice, and for us to create, and for us to do. And so I still call them God moments, because we're noticing that God is present. We're noticing that we've created a moment where God is present. So we can really notice these God moments, these God places, these God relationships. Martin Buber spoke of an I-thou relationship where we really don't treat other people as it's. We treat other people as thou, as it is someone that we really look to have these deep relationships. That's a God thing. That's a God moment. And as Jacob woke up to notice, and this was a revelatory time in his life, and he became Israel. As Jacob noticed, how can we notice these God moments, that God is really present in these moments? And I want to give you 3 examples from my life where I've noticed. A fourth walked in the room. I didn't know you would be here, and I could share a 4th example of a God moment. We told that story a little bit before services. We'll see. But I want to give 3 examples of my life where I've noticed, and I hope that will allow you to think of moments in your life. So first of all, if you walk up to my you will notice that there's a beautifully framed piece of art, poster, that says, "Surely God is in this place," and I did not know. So this was a gift to me by someone that is very special, and every single time I walk into my office, it makes me stop and say, oh, God is present. God is here. I better do some good work in my office, and I better be kind, and I better be present and create some I-thou relationships and God moments in my office. So literally, those words are with me every day, because I'm here every day. They're with me almost every day. That's the first example. The second example is that many of you know that I'm a cancer survivor, and so I can never give blood. I had a blood cancer. I can never give blood. I can never donate things from my body. And my spouse is not here tonight because there was the article in the paper. Did you see the article in the paper about a young man fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma? Mine was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's gone through chemotherapy and radiation and a stem cell treatment from his own stem cells, but now he has to have a donor stem cell treatment, and he hasn't yet found a match. And so my spouse is going to swab and see if she's a match. That's where literally she is right now. To me, that's praying with your feet. And that's walking, and that's an example of creating a God moment and really noticing that God is in this place. Because when you have cancer, it's hard to notice that God's in that place, but it's how you react to it and what you can do from it that you can notice that God is in this place. And the third example, not to embarrass my family members, some of my family is here. Some of them lit candles at the beginning of services, and my sons are here as well, who turn 17 tomorrow. So I guess I have to add that in. That's noticing a God moment right there, because twins turning 17 is nothing to laugh about. But this family, without telling the entire story, I'll share that this is family that some are my cousins because they're my cousins, and some of them are family that we've found recently. And family is made in a really, you can make family. You can create your family. You can be that angel, that messenger of peace, and really create family. So this family has been my family and this family has been created in beautiful ways, in unique ways, and we've found each other and new people in our family in creative and amazing ways. And that, to me, is noticing that God is in this place. And maybe there's thunder. I don't know what that is. So, and I was saying that my last day of treatment, I had chemotherapy, then radiation. My last day of radiation, I finished, and I walked to another part of the hospital, and I watched this young man be born and sang him into the world. So his birthday is my rebirth day, and that's a God moment too. So with all of that, I ask that you, us, all of us, really notice that surely God is in this place, even in the really, really hard places. And again, I don't think God made those hard places. I think God is present with us in those hard places. I think you can notice them. I think you can make them happen. I think you can choose to create this noticing and create those relationships and those places and those actions. Make them happen. And finally, I wanted to share a teaching that asks us, as part of creating those moments of noticing that God is in this place and that really reenacting this ascending and descending of Jacob's ladder, are the trilogy of learning, prayer, and action. And I have I'd like to read to you this teaching by Lisa Grushkow, and it's exactly addressing this issue. How do we feel God's presence? It's easy to envy Jacob's dream and his waking realization that he had been close to the divine. Arthur Green, in his Introduction to the Zohar, describes mystical experiences as, quote, striving toward oneness, a breaking down of illusory barriers to reveal the great secret of the unity of all being. I think about Jacob's experience in that light. It is a moment in which he understands that he is a part of something bigger and that his life's journey has meaning. She says, speaking as a synagogue rabbi, that is certainly what I want people to experience within our walls, within synagogue walls. Larry Kushner writes that entrances to holiness are everywhere. How can we help each other find them? The first way is learning. In the words of Elie Wiesel, this isn't instant coffee. There's no instant mysticism. To get a sense of divine presence, we turn to sacred text, believing that study can give us a glimpse of God. The second way is prayer. I'm inspired by the Talmudic teaching that Jacob is associated with the evening prayer because of this experience of his dream described in this week's Parsha. So when we come to the evening service, we're meant to put ourselves in Jacob's sandals, vulnerable and uncertain. If we can make space to bring our full selves to prayer, we can hope for that deeper connection. The third way is action. I recently spoke with a psychologist who said that the difference between sadness and depression is despair. Especially in the wake of recent political events, many of us have experienced that kind of despair, hopeless that we can help make change. But a synagogue, at its best, is a place where people come together to make a difference. The spirituality of action can help us feel agency over our lives and a link to values that will outlive us. May you notice, may you find, and may you create those moments.